Hello and welcome everyone to the All Things Education podcast, where we learn tips and tricks to achieve our best in secondary and tertiary education. I'm your host, Mary Coleman, and as always, I am very excited to welcome you to the episode today. Today we're interviewing 4 students who all received ATARs over 95, which is an incredible achievement. But we've asked them the same questions and they all have answered slightly differently, so hopefully you are able to resonate with some of the things they're saying. Grab your pen and paper because there are heaps of practical tips and tricks that you will want to be using in your secondary education when you hit the ground running. This academic year has already started and I cannot wait, so let's get educated. Alrighty, welcome to the All Things Education podcast. To start things off, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, including your name, the subjects you did in Year 12, the ATAR you received, and what you are studying in tertiary education this year?
Of course. My name is Joanna and I studied Society and Culture, Chemistry, Biology, Maths Methods and Maths Specialist in Year 12. I received an ATAR of 99.5 and this year I will either be studying occupational therapy or psychology. I haven't quite decided yet.
So my name is Liam. In Year 12, I studied psychology, chemistry, specialist mathematics and biology, which led me to an ATAR of 97.1. And then in university, I'm studying a Bachelor of Finance and Banking with a Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences.
My name is Zach. I studied spec maths, physics, workplace practices, robotics and electronics, and then I did methods in year 11, which was good. I received a 96.8 ATAR, and next year, or this year now, I'll be studying a Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences.
Hello everyone, so my name is Lisa and the subjects that I did in Year 12 were English as an additional language, general mathematics, chemistry, biology and stage 1 religion studies. And the ATAR that I received was 96.20 and in 2022 I will be studying a Bachelor of Secondary Teaching with a Bachelor of Science.
Nice. And Joanna, what did you find most difficult when you were in Year 12?
In Year 12, I probably found balancing like a heavy workload of subjects, playing sport, a part-time job, my social life, and I had a quite demanding leadership role. So that was quite challenging just in order of like I was pulled in lots of many directions and I was unsure like what to prioritize at some points, and that I found quite stressful at times. So that's probably the most difficult thing I found in Year 12.
Yeah, for sure. Time management can be extremely difficult when you have lots of things on your plate. And Liam, what about you? What did you find most difficult?
Probably struggling between balancing my time studying for tests and working on assignments when they were both due at similar time, and just making sure that I get them both done and I'm prepared for tests.
Yeah, for sure. I think being prepared for your tests and knowing when your due dates are coming up is the key to being on top of your schoolwork. And Zach, what did you struggle with most when you were in Year 12?
I think probably like maintaining motivation, I guess. Like at the start of the year, I was really keen for Year 12 and I improved my study schedule and everything. But towards the end, it very much tapered off a lot and my exam results weren't as good as I could have done because I sort of lost motivation.
Yeah, motivation is super hard to maintain throughout Year 12 for sure. And Lisa, what did you struggle with most in Year 12?
So in Year 12, I think the most difficult thing was probably managing my stress levels and like keeping a healthy mental well-being. Yeah, that was quite difficult for me because I was quite pressured in like, getting like good grades. If I didn't get A's and A pluses, then I would beat myself up a lot. Yeah,
the whole struggle of like high expectation. Yeah. And Joanna, what was your harder subject?
I would say in terms of content, specialist maths was definitely the hardest.
Wow.
However, it was something that I really enjoyed doing and I had a wonderful teacher. So it really motivated me to do the work. It wasn't hard in terms of actually doing the work. So in terms of motivation, I found chemistry the hardest to be motivated by because I just wasn't as interested or as passionate about that subject and about the content. So I found it the hardest to actually do, if that makes sense.
No, definitely that makes sense. And Liam, what was your hardest subject?
Probably specialist mathematics because it's a different type of subject. Like you got to do a lot of problem solving, which is very different to all my other subjects.
Yeah, okay, same as Joanna. Cool. And Zach, what was yours?
I think probably either physics or English. Oh, I forgot to mention I did English as well. See, I'm already forgetting
No,
about
that's
it.
fine.
I did, yeah, English, not my expertise, I'd say, but the
That's
workload of
fine.
physics was also very challenging.
Yeah.
So definitely one of those two.
Yeah, cool. And Lisa?
I think biology and chemistry were my highest subjects. With biology, it's because I didn't really study it much. Like, I would get some set questions for homework, and I would just leave it
Yeah.
and not do anything. And I think that's why that's one of my highest subjects, because I didn't really study. And with chemistry, I think it's just a hard subject overall because
There's a lot to learn.
and it's like a lot of application stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, guys, you can see that these people have all said in common maths and science-based subjects were the struggle. Obviously, they've chosen these subjects because they're good at them and they were challenged by them. But later we'll hear about how these difficult subjects actually have worked in their favour. Now remember, your subject counsellor can talk to you about other benefits of doing difficult subjects, like these, where you can benefit from bonuses such as high scaling. And again, if you are ever unsure about what subjects are right for you, definitely go talk to your teachers, family, friends, and subject counsellor. They have so much more knowledge specific to your circumstance. Alright guys, we hope you're enjoying the content so far. We definitely are, so stay tuned and keep on listening. Alright, let's jump back in. Joanna, what do you reckon would be your easiest subject in year 12?
Easiest, I would put society and culture
Okay.
because that was something I was really passionate about. It was about social justice. So
cool.
learning about people and the problems of the world and how we can resolve that was something I've always been passionate about and enjoyed learning. So it was I didn't even feel like I was doing schoolwork doing it. So it was easy for me to do. And I would also probably put methods up there because it was again, something I enjoyed doing and passionate about, and it wasn't something I struggled with. So, yeah, they're probably my two easiest subjects.
Yeah, nice. And Liam, what was your easiest subject when you were in year 12?
Psychology. I just understood that the
Yeah,
best
good.
and was the one that worked best for me as a student. So that became the easiest one.
Yes, and did you enjoy learning it?
Oh, yeah. And my mum's a psychologist, so that
Oh,
helped too.
good. Yeah, that's awesome. Zach, what about you? What was your easiest subject?
Probably spec maths because I really enjoy doing maths. And yeah, I honestly like did workbook questions to sort of procrastinate other subjects because I just enjoy it. It was definitely difficult. Like the assignments were pretty tricky. But I enjoy it, so it
That's good.
wasn't so hard, I guess.
Yeah. If you love to learn about a subject, it makes it so much easier to learn the content. And Lisa, what about you?
The easiest subject for me was English as an additional language,
Nice.
or EAL, because in year 11 I actually did English, like
Okay.
just general English, but because I was also doing stage 2 Vietnamese continuous in year 11, when you're learning two languages, it's kind of hard. Like you did French, right?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, like if you can understand, like when you're doing two languages, it's just hard to like go from one language to another language.
Yeah,
and then,
you keep jumping back and
yeah.
forth.
So I kind of just begged one of the English teachers all the time, and then she finally let me do this test where it tests my English abilities, and then I somehow got in. So I was like, oh, okay, this is good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good. So you reckon that was your easiest subject because it just took that much more pressure off?
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. And Joanna, out of the 5 subjects that you chose, did you choose them because you liked them, or were you good at them, or was it a bit of a combination?
Yeah, I would say it's a bit of a mixture.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I loved society and culture, and I loved maths, and I was good at biology and chemistry. But in my mind, I enjoyed the subjects that I did well in, and I feel like that's a general case for everyone.
For
you
sure.
enjoy when you get good grades and succeed. So I say most of the time that they would go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Obviously, different case for
Of
everyone,
course,
but
yeah.
for me, I would call it a mixture.
Yeah, cool. And Liam, was it a combination of doing subjects you loved and were good at?
Yeah, I reckon it was a combination of both.
Yeah, nice.
Like my two favourite subjects going into year 12 are chemistry and psychology.
Perfect,
so I chose those two.
Yeah.
And then I chose biology because I'm good at it.
Yeah.
It was one of the subjects that I've always found out understood and been just good at.
That's good.
And then I chose specialist mathematics just because it was a prerequisite for university courses.
Okay, yeah.
And I got talked into it.
Oh, no. Well, that's all right. I guess it worked out in the end, so that's always good. And Zach, what about you? Did you choose subjects you loved or were good at, or was it both? Liam and Joanna have just said that it was a combination of both subjects.
I think it was a bit of a combination.
Okay, yeah, cool.
I love maths and physics, so I did those.
Yeah.
And I did workplace practices because it was sort of like an easier option that the school offered. So I sort of did that as a easier subject. I did robotics and electronics because I love that subject as well.
Yeah.
And English, actually originally wanted to not do English and do general maths because just another type of maths that I would have found easier and I like. But I decided to do English to sort of challenge myself a bit.
Yeah, I think challenging yourself in year 12 is really good. You push yourself beyond your limits, but obviously not too much. You need to know yourself how far you can go. But it paid off in the end, so good job, Zach. And Lisa, what about you? Did you choose subjects that you loved or were good at, or was it a little bit of a combination of both?
Okay. So I'm quite basic. So I chose like English, math, science, all those subjects.
Yeah, that's not basic.
Yes, but I think I chose chemistry because I knew that I was good at it, and it was my favorite subject.
Nice.
So I knew that I had
So you
to
liked it too.
take it.
Yeah.
And with biology, I actually didn't want to do it in year 12, but because I thought that I wanted to go into dentistry or like, the health field.
Yeah.
And so biology might be really good for me to do, so it will help me a lot in uni.
Yeah, you can get a bit of idea of what you're going to be learning in university and a bit of general basic knowledge. That's so good. Nice. Alrighty, guys, you can evidently see that all four of these people, Joanna, Liam, Zach, and Lisa, have all chosen subjects that were a combination of things that they loved and that are also good at. They put their effort into the subjects they knew that they would succeed in, and it paid off in the end with their amazing ATARs. Now remember, of course, you choose whatever subjects that you love and whatever you need to do to get into your university course or your tertiary education. But keep in mind, you need to be doing subjects that you love and are good at. Finding that equilibrium between the two is so key, because that way you're really able to enjoy year 12 and enjoy the subjects you're learning. If we look at the example from Zach, he said that he actually procrastinated against doing other subjects by learning spec maths, which he said he found difficult and wasn't an easy subject, but he absolutely loved learning it. So he would actually be spending more of his time and putting effort into a subject he loved learning, and it rewarded him in the end by getting a better grade. Of course, sure, maybe don't procrastinate against your subjects and, do other subjects, but at least he was studying and doing the best he could. Again, guys, I really just want to stress, if you are ever unsure about what courses you should be taking in tertiary education or secondary education, go speak to your course counsellor. They have all the knowledge specific to your circumstance. Alrighty, let's jump right back in. Joanna, what are your top 3 tips for studying in secondary education?
My first tip is to make sure that you keep doing the things you love. So keep playing sport, keep working, keep your social life strong, and keep doing your extracurriculars. And because it's just so important to have a balance, because you can get so easily burnt out. You want to make sure that you are looking forward to some things and, just enjoying yourself. My second tip is to make sure that you have your study techniques down packed for year 12, particularly if you're in year 10 or year 11. Now is the time to experiment what works for you and what helps you to do your best. If you're going into year 12 this year, make sure you just understand your learning style, as that will help you achieve your best. I think really trying to find out what learner you are makes such a difference, because everyone's different and everyone has a unique style, so you just got to find what works for you. And then my third tip is to make sure that you use your time as effectively as possible. That was very important for me because I had a lot on my plate.
Yeah, you definitely did. You're so busy, my goodness.
So just make sure you're using your study periods effectively, and whilst it's always nice to have a chat with others every now and then, make sure it's not a constant, because you really just don't want to waste your hour block that might, help you refine that assignment and push it to the next level, or, add a worked example to your maths cheat sheet that will be really helpful for your tests coming up.
Yeah, I think managing your time and being really effective with it can be the difference between an A or a B. Yeah, amazing. And Liam, what about you? What are your top 3 tips for students?
First one would be finding a balance between different aspects of life, like spending time doing sport, playing music, and then balancing that with studying and socializing. Like the last year of school, you're going to have friends and you've got to spend time with the friends.
Of
and
course.
You can't just sit in your room doing work every day. And then I'm a sports person as well, so I had to make sure I got outside so I could work
100%, yeah.
when I needed to. The next tip to get my work drafted by as many people as possible. So like when you're doing an assignment, I found it easiest to like obviously give it to a teacher, then I gave it to my parents, gave it to my sister, gave it to
Pass
my
it
teacher
around,
again,
yeah.
just to make sure that all the grammar's right, all the content's right,
Yeah.
as good as it can be when you hand it up. I also said that planning your work ahead of time, so having a plan for how you're going to test, how you're going to study for a test, how you're going to complete your assignment to make sure that you get everything that you need to done before the day it's due.
Yeah, for sure. So that sense of preparation and balancing your life, your social life and your study life. Yeah, awesome. And Zach, what about you?
I would say number one would be if the early entry,
Year
like the
11
year 11
offer?
subject
Yeah.
entry pathway is available for university still, because
Yeah.
that was available for us because of the pandemic. And if that's still available, I'd definitely say for every student to look at that, because for
100%.
me, I applied with my year 11 grades and got into the course that I wanted to
Yeah,
before I
awesome.
even got my ATAR. And so all I had to do was really just worry about passing. Not that I still tried my hardest, but it sort of made it a little easier. The weight was off my back and the
Yeah.
pressure a little bit. Yeah, I think the classic is like study habits and like the phone. For me, I'm very poor at leaving my phone in another room, turning it off. I always had it beside me, but I always put it on do not disturb mode whilst I
Good,
was
yeah,
studying,
yeah.
and I would only ever look at it every 15 minutes or so. That's just what worked for me, I think. And the last one, to do as much work as possible during class.
Yeah.
Like, I was really scared for English because of the big workload, but I found that after I sort of separated myself from my friends a little bit
Yeah.
and focused in class, I actually didn't have that much homework, and it was mostly done in class.
Yeah, you can kind of get it out of the way and you don't have to stress about a mountain of homework when you get home. That's so true. That's awesome. And Lisa, what about you?
I think my top tip is if you're dealing with like depression or anxiety, it's like really important to have like someone
People
that
to
you can
talk to.
talk to.
Yeah.
It could be your year level coordinator or a teacher or a counselor or even a friend.
Just
You know,
someone.
it's so important to just take care of your mental health. My second tip is finish your work on time. So manage your time wisely, because in year 12, I think most of my assignments, I completed it maybe a week early to get my teachers to have a look over it before I hand in the actual draft.
Yeah.
And you won't feel stressed by the time that an assignment is due.
Yeah.
My final tip is to really ask a lot of questions, whether that's in class, over email, or in person.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that in year 12, I would see my chemistry teacher every single week,
Nice.
one-on-one, and that helped me a lot because I was able to like understand the concept more easily.
Yes, that's so good when the teachers just want to help you. It's awesome. And Joanna, we're in SA, so COVID wasn't too crazy in year 12, but were you impacted at all?
No, I don't think it was really that bad. I think being in South Australia, like you said, we were really lucky to I think it was only 1 week of a lockdown in 2021. And in terms of like schoolwork, I would say that meant we only had like 5 days of online learning, which was very tiring after a while. I don't know if I could have done it for much longer, but 5 days was fine. And it just meant a few deadlines were pushed back. So for us, I think we're really lucky. The school was very prepared for those 5 days. So I just think it didn't really impact me.
Yeah.
But I know that's different for everyone.
Of course, yeah. Everyone's impacted by COVID differently. And Liam, were you impacted by COVID?
I don't think so. I completely forgot that we had a lockdown this year, so
yeah, we're very lucky in SA, yeah.
Yeah, we are actually.
And Zach, what about you? Were you impacted by COVID?
I think it definitely did. Like, I
Okay.
definitely missed out on a lot of the opportunities and like exciting stuff that would have happened in year 12 because of COVID restrictions, like traveling to like school trips and like big school events and that sort of stuff. A lot of them didn't go ahead. So that sort of, I guess, tanked on the fun of year
The
12 a little
social
bit.
side,
Apart from that, my actual study, I think I handled pretty well. I don't think it really affected me that much. I guess
Okay.
the year 11 entry pathway again was just another thing that because of COVID, it's an opportunity almost. Even when we weren't isolating, the teachers really used online facilities like Teams and Sector quite well to sort of manage our learning. So that was one thing that was sort of like because of COVID, but the online learning wasn't restricted, I guess.
No, for sure. It's always accessible online, yeah. Alrighty, so this next answer from Lisa is touching a little bit on mental health. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of a pre-warning that if this may be triggering to you talking about depression and mental health, feel free to take a break. And we just wanted to warn you that, of course, everyone is impacted by COVID differently. Joanna and Liam have both said that they weren't really impacted. Zach said he was impacted in the social side of year 12. And Lisa is going to be talking about the mental health side that affected her. So yes, just a little heads up if this may be triggering to you just talking about mental health. Please just definitely take a break or whatever you need to do. So Lisa, were you impacted?
I guess in year 11, it did. In year 11, I was doing, I think, 9 subjects per semester. So I did stage 2 Vietnamese continuous vet course. So I did a certificate 3 in business and also stage 2 research project. So 2020 was the year that COVID came, and I had to do my Vietnamese subjects over Zoom. So I did it outside of school.
Right.
So I was class stuck for Vietnamese for like 4 years, and then so I was expecting to get like a merit or like an A plus or like just class stuck again. But because of COVID, I didn't have that, one-on-one assistance with my teacher. One of the assignment that I did was worth 30% of my grade. Wow. And then I think it was one night, my teacher called me and she was like, hi, so I have something to tell you. And I'm like, okay. And then she's like, so your work at the moment is a C plus level. And instantly I was like, are you sure?
Yeah, you would have been thinking, hang on a second,
yes,
what?
Yes. But it was a draft. Like, luckily it was a draft.
That's good.
And then she's like, yeah, you might need to restart it. And I'm like, okay. So I had to restart it. I had like about 2 weeks to restart it. So, I try to get it done in like 1 week so I can send it back to her, so for her to review it and tell me how it is before I hand in the final draft. And then she looked at it and then she said, nah, it's still not good enough.
No way.
Yeah. So then, I had to do another one. And because of that kind of just, ruined my mental health a lot. I felt like a failure. But, it's just that time. It's temporary because of COVID. But it really just impacted a lot on my mental health. And later on, I got diagnosed with severe depression and severe anxiety and high stress due to that. And then I just stopped studying, and that kind of impacted my learning.
Of course.
In year 11. And I just had to go to see counselors every single week. I had weekly counseling. That was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. And I think, Lisa, that mental health is something that once you're in that mindset of, that failure mindset, or I'm not good enough and I'll never be good enough, or that grade isn't good enough, just all of those kind of aspects that really are negative and drawing you down, it's so hard to pull yourself back out of that and catch yourself thinking those things, because when you have those high expectations, it's impossible to kind of get rid of them. I know that I was similar in the way that I obviously had these super high expectations of myself, and I needed to get good grades all the time, 24/7. So I 100% can agree and resonate with what you're saying there. So just moving on a little bit, Joanna, did you have a part-time job when you were in year 12?
Yeah, so I did have a part-time job throughout the entire of year 12. And for me, I worked 2 shifts a week. Okay. So it was about 10 hours in total every week. So I did 1 weeknight and 1 weekend. Nice. So that balance worked well for me.
Yeah, nice. I think having that balance between your work life and your study life and being able to know your limits and how much you can work is really, really important. And that's so good that you figured that out. And Liam, did you have a part-time job in year 12?
I guess kind of. I was a basketball coach.
Nice.
I think for like 3/4 of the year.
Okay.
I had to coach a team which was 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So I think Thursdays, Saturdays and Sundays I did an hour and a half each day.
Yeah.
And then I also did a bit of extra on Fridays, so just another hour after school, so nothing too strenuous.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. That's good. Same as Joanna, you found that work to study balance, which is awesome. And you've only signed up for as much as you know you can commit to, which is perfect. Yeah. And Zach, did you have a part-time job?
Yeah, all throughout year 12, the entire year, I worked at Target.
Nice, yeah.
So I was working casual work there.
Okay.
I'd say Start of the year, I'd probably work 2 to 3 shifts a week, maybe like 6 to 10 hours a
Okay,
week.
yeah, cool.
But then towards the end of the year, especially with exams, I'd probably only work 1 shift a week, maybe 3 or 4 hours. So I just basically said to the management I need to take some time off, and they were like, "That's all cool."
Yeah.
So yeah, that worked quite well. But then in Christmas time, boom, straight back up,
Straight
making
back
lots
up.
of money.
Yeah, awesome. It's always good to earn money again after you haven't been working heaps after a while. So that's great. And Lisa, what about you?
No, I did.
Really?
Because in year 12, I got back on track with my studying.
Awesome.
So I didn't spend time, making money. I just studied all the time.
Yeah, awesome. Studying is good. That's what we want. So guys, we've actually come to the end of our interview questions, but stick around because we've asked Joanna, Zach, Liam and Lisa for some good luck messages, particularly for the Year 12s of 2022, but also these can be applied for any secondary student. Alright, here they are.
Achieve your best and work at your pace. And I know that sometimes I felt very pressured to be at a certain standard, and it is a hard feeling to shake, but you've just got to know that you've put in all the work that you can, and that is more than enough. And your ATAR is not everything. There are so many other pathways that you can explore, and there's TAFE, there's pathway courses, you can use VET courses to get into university. So the ATAR is not the be all and end all. Like, your talents are unique, and that's what you got to find your strengths and use them.
Good luck. Don't get caught up too much in the whole get good grades stuff. Have fun with the last year of school.
Good luck. It's a lot of fun. Just number one, prioritize your mental health and yourself before school, because at the end of the day, doing your best as possible in year 12 makes after school life easier. But if you're worried about getting into a uni course and you don't think you're getting a high enough ATAR, you can always take other pathways into it. Like, there's plenty of options into getting what career or what course you want to do. So at the end of the day, just enjoy year 12, do the best you can do, and yeah.
To the year 12 of 2022, you should just try your best. And, don't beat yourself up too much. You don't know what's going to happen this year. Like, with COVID and everything at the moment, have faith and don't stress too much.
These are all wise words. Well, thank you so much, Joanna, Zach, Liam, and Lisa, for joining us on the All Things Education podcast today.
Thank you.
It was absolutely amazing to have you guys on. You have shared the wisest tips and practical tricks that students can implement into their studies. So thank you so much, guys, and we'll definitely see you next time. Wow, what did you think about that? I honestly was so blown away by the answers that Zach, Joanna, Liam, and Lisa all gave. They were so knowledgeable, and oh my goodness, I am taken away by what they have said. I hope you guys are writing some notes down, because definitely that knowledge was superb. Alright, I did just want to stress really quickly that the ATAR is not the be all and end all, especially if you are going into year 12 this year and you're just starting out. Do not stress about the ATAR. It is not a big deal. Just because these students got ATARs over 95, it doesn't mean that you have to implement every single thing they've said and done to get a 95 ATAR as well. There are so many different pathways that you can utilize to get into the dream course that you love. Believe me, the ATAR does not matter. Zach and I both got into our courses with the Year 11 entry pathway, so if that's available for you guys, definitely jump right onto that and find out if your nearest university is doing that. Other universities and tertiary institutions actually consider your Year 12 grades now as well, so find out what is the best option that will suit your needs and your goals for your tertiary studies. I really loved how Joanna was stressing how you need to make sure you have time to do the things you love, particularly in the extracurricular activities, balancing between your work and your study life. It was great to hear Liam say that he did have a part-time job and he knew his limits and how much he could commit to. And hearing Zach talk about his struggle with motivation just goes to show that even 95 plus ATAR students struggle as well. And of course, listening to Lisa and her difficulty with mental health and overcoming that whole expectation she's put on herself was very motivational and inspirational to see that we all struggle with the expectations that we place on ourselves. So that is all from us today at All Things Education, and if you like this episode, be sure to let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on your favourite platform, and remember, the advice given on this channel and on our socials are recommendations only. If you are ever unsure about anything related to your education and your well-being, speak to your school counsellor and/or contact your local support networks. Thanks again for tuning into the All Things Education podcast. I'm your host, Mary Coleman, and for more tips and tricks, check out our Instagram at allthingseducation21. Stay educated, everyone, and see you next time.